This is just all very moody white boy stuff, and I've been a very moody white boy. Now, again, it doesn't have to be a race thing. I can already see you. You can just be moody. You can just be moody, right? But let's try to run with the joke here. This shit's pretty white. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Bees, and I'm not feeling well today at all. I don't usually look like this, right? I don't usually got a beanie on. I don't even have these glasses on most of the time. These are blue light glasses. I just wear them whenever I have a headache. And I have a headache. It is December here in the United States, which means that if you walk outside and you breathe in, you're going to get sick. And I'm currently sick at the moment. But in all of my days that have come before this, in this past week, I have been looking forward to doing only one thing, and that is reacting to albums for you. And today, I think we have a big one. Today, we are going to react to What Is the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis. I said, what is the story? What's the story, Morning Glory by Oasis? I, like every other person on this planet, have heard Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Champagne Supernova, all fantastic tracks in their own right, but I've never listened to this album. You know, I think Oasis, if you ask anybody who was around at the time, and if you know anything about music, that was such a moment. Seeing the Gallagher brothers, Noel and Liam, rise to this unbelievable height. And people were saying, oh my God, it's the next Beatles, all this other crap. Now, whether or not they were that goes, you know, I mean, they weren't. But they did lead the charge for this whole Britpop thing in terms of how it came across here in the United States. I know we have a couple people from the UK in our chat who have said that this album is just like their culture wrapped up in 50 minutes. So we'll get into that a little bit today, and I will try to be as animated as I can because, like I said, I feel like shit. But I don't need any cold cough medicine from anybody. All I need is for you to like the video if you like it, dislike it if you hate it, and please do let me know your thoughts on my thoughts as we go through this album. Is Noel Gallagher the biggest asshole? Is Liam Gallagher the biggest asshole? That's what I need to know. If you ever want to catch us live, hopefully it's a time that I'm not sick, go ahead and check out one of the links in the description. If you ever want to catch this reaction uncut and other reactions before it comes out on YouTube, go ahead and check out my Patreon. You can get exactly that for just $1 and some other tiers for all the other stupid videos that I tend to make. All right, yeah, this is it. This is What's the Story, Morning Glory. I've seen this album cover more times than I can count. I know the big songs off of it, but what's the use in a couple good songs if the album's complete shite? Right? Am I pronouncing that right for all the limeys out there? 50 minutes, 13 seconds. What's the Story, Morning Glory? Let's get into the Brothers Gallagher and all their mishigas. It opens up with Wonderwall. Wait. Wait, this can't be happening. often than not, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that calling a song your first song on the album hello or welcome or start, it's kind of cheap. But it works. If this is truly an album's album, it will feel like an album. It will be paced as such. And what a better way to start it than with a nice hello. Now, they thought it would be really great to start the album with Wonderwall. So we'll see if that comes back as kind of a motif or theme as the album kind of progresses. I don't think they knew the extent to which Wonderwall would be a meme, so maybe that wasn't the intended feeling there for me to kind of laugh as soon as I started hearing fucking Wonderwall. But yeah, no, I think this is starting off as everything I've kind of come to understand about Oasis, just these, who sings? Is it Noel or Liam? I think it's Noel that sings, right? He's got this, really just like natural, Liam sings. Okay. Well, Liam sings. Wait. Okay. So Liam sings, with Liam singing, he's got this way with melody that I feel like he's got a nice voice. I really do enjoy the voice, but it's like so nasally that I feel like anybody could sing like that. It's never gonna be the same, right? Anybody can do that. I did like the guitar tone on this, but it did feel like there was just a lot going on. There was always something going on in the background. Probably multiple guitar tracks that I'm hearing, which sounded a lot different from that breakaway from like the, I guess, Wonderwall overture or motif that we heard. Like when it really starts kicking in, I really enjoy just how clear that tone was. And I think they dropped it back further in the mix. But yeah, this, I mean, it's damn, I feel like I just walked out of a chippy. You know what I mean? Roll with it. Dude does not abide. I know the road down which your life will drive. It's the girl, she's not behind the door. You know I think I recognize your face, but I've never seen you Considering I'm not feeling too well, I do like a nice, simple approach to lyrics, to a theme. Let's give the boys, the lads, a round of applause here. And I do like how it progresses, considering that it's so simple. This is let the haters talk, dude. Be you. If you want to make a video series called Straight White Male Reacts to Taylor Swift, you go ahead and do that. Don't ever stand aside. Never be denied. You want to be who you'd be if you're coming with me. Here's this guy just saying, like, dude, like, I will show you the way. Let me show you the way. Do you know the way? I will show you the way. But I like this thing here towards the end. I think I've got a feeling I've lost inside. So maybe he's kind of reconnecting with that drive, that ambition to kind of do his own thing there. Or maybe he's lost that feeling. I interpret, I think I've got a feeling I've lost inside. Maybe because he's got it, so he's got it back. He once lost it, now he's got it back. Is he getting that from somebody else? somebody else that he's helping throughout the way. And then, compositionally, I will be honest with you, I like the brighter guitar sound, but it's just so it's so constant the entire time, and that's been the case with these last two songs. So I'm already seeing something different from the hits that I've heard, right? And like the hit of all hits is coming up next, and so that's just like maybe a compositional theme that they do that Oasis gets into. Maybe it's just this album where those rhythm guitars just don't stop the entire time. Who's my man on drums? I enjoyed him quite a bit on this one. No, right? Is it Liam or Noel? Who the fuck sings this? I thought Noel sang it because like Liam's like the cooler one who like wasn't a recluse. This having a chart battle with Blur is absolutely wild. Great song nonetheless. Feels like home. I was gonna say I wasn't gonna compare them to Blur, but I kind of fell into a little bit of a Blur hole in the middle of this past year. I mean, Blur is extremely dynamic. I mean, it's Damon Albarn. He's a fucking genius. But I think from what I've come to understand, and now I'm trying to understand this for myself, it's really the lyrics that pulls you in with Oasis. We are now all set, seemingly, to listen to the song that was beat to utter death when I was in high school. I think that's what like really when anyway, here's Wonderwall. That's when that whole meme started. I've heard the song 1,012 fucking times. It's a great track. I don't think I'm going to love the track any more than I already do. I mean, yeah, I really like the song. It's a good song. Is it one of my favorites of all time? I don't think so. But it's so easy to listen to. You get a lot out of it. But as we often see on this channel, whenever I react to a song that I've already heard before in this capacity, when I'm looking at the lyrics, maybe I get a little bit more out of it. Maybe I get it from a new perspective. So this is more of a review than a reaction. But anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you.
Throw it back, ladies and gentlemen.
By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how. Because maybe you're gonna be the one that's
Boom.
Today was gonna be the day, but they'll never throw it back to you. You're my Wonderwall. I said maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me.
I mean, it's Wonderwall. This was Wonderwall. Yeah, it's one of the biggest pop songs of all time, one of the biggest tracks ever. And it's easy to see why. It's catchy. The composition is very simple, but it's very heartfelt. There's this idea that I'm getting out where it's almost like the themes are a little bit larger than the song itself. They're giving you enough to bite at in these lyrics, but there's this other thing that exists past the song to where you could apply things to yourself or apply, it just have many interpretations for it. But this one thing, between the Slash track, this track, And the two other songs I know, Don't Look Back in Anger and Champagne Supernova, there's almost this idea that, yes, we can recognize that things in life are bad or that you might be down in the dumps or feeling a certain way, but there is this sense of optimism there. You know, it's, I need to be saved, but I'm not going to focus so much on what I need to be saved from. I need to look forward to the moment that I get saved. I need that hope there. Don't look back in anger, you know, try to move on, you know, in the best possible light. Maybe I have a little bit more to say once we react to that track. Because this is really the first time that I'm really getting into the bones of this song. I still have no idea what the fuck a Wonderwall is. Something that maybe protects you, you know, like to have a defense in front of you and looking for that in another person, and then just being bewildered by their tenacity and fortitude in that regard. That's what I got for that. And you know, I know this is a very popular track. We got some people from the UK. So like, what is it with this song that stands out amongst all the other songs that have ever gotten huge or big or memeified? Because even though this one's been memeified, I feel as though it still has that regard to it, that people still hold this in very high critical regard. White boy humbly vibes to Wonderwall. Is it just all nostalgia? But there is a reason why they took the world by storm in the 90s. You know, because. And I know that there may have been some examples of Britpop that followed this, but really, I mean, let's be honest with you folks. Whether this is right or wrong, you don't get big unless you get big in the U.S. And this got big in the U.S. And, you know, sure, you could, what do they call that in the U.K.? What was that show called? Top of the Pops. You could be Top of the Pops. But unless you're on the top of the U.S., you know, nobody really gives a shit. Probably just boils down to being an undeniable hit. I mean, you can't take it away. I wouldn't even say that this song's I wouldn't even say that this song's overrated, even though I've heard it a billion times. This is one of those hits that you hear it, you know it's a hit, you know you've heard it a billion other times. Now, whether or not you can really jive out to it, I don't know. I just, like, this is the way to do things. You know, this is a way to, if you're going for ethereal, it hits that. If you're going for relatable, it hits that. Those are two things that aren't very easy to, you know, balance. And I think they do it quite well here. And I think a lot of that has to do with how simple the composition is. So next up, we have Don't Look Back in Anger. This is another one that I've heard before. This is probably my favorite Oasis song out of, like, the three that I really know. I love the vocal performance. I love the melodies in this track. I love the message, like I was saying, you know, maybe it's okay to have those feelings of anger, but, you know, try to move past it. Try to not look back on it with all that anger still there. Maybe the moment you had it. That's been my interpretation since the last time I've listened to this song. But again, this is maybe a little bit more of a review than a reaction. And then we don't hear another new song for me until Champagne Supernova. So let's get into Don't Look Back in Anger. Yeah, it's so good. Little nod to John Lennon there at the start of the track, I think, with that piano.
Slip inside the eye of your mind.
This song rocks. I love this song.
A better place. So I start a revolution from my bed. 'Cause you said the brains I had went to my head.
I love this chorus.
And so Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as we're walking on by. And so
I thought I'd have a little bit more to say on the lyrics, and I do have a little bit more to say, because even though this is like the 9 billionth time I've heard this song, I'm still just so captured by the composition. This is one of the best songs I've heard. I love this song so much. It gives me everything I look for in a rock song: tasteful guitar solos, brilliant vocal melodies, catchy as hell, drum fills up the wazoo, but not doing it a ton. I don't know the drummer's name, but he's been doing a great job. I often say here on the channel, I don't believe that you can overplay the drums, and they're giving us these tasteful fills in between moments, in between sections. I adore it. But I did make a connection that I'd never previously made before. So at the start of the song, in the beginning of the song, right, we have... And this has always reminded me of Imagine by John Lennon, and I think that goes for a lot of people. I think you can hear the opening piano chords of the song and see, maybe it's an ode to John Lennon, and if at the very least it sounds very familiar. This is the first time I've really listened to the song while reading with the lyrics. So I start a revolution from my bed. That's like, is that not a fucking callback to John and Yoko sitting in their bed and, calling everybody an asshole for celebrating Christmas and shit, right? You might as well have just started the song doing this.
It's Christmas Day. People are dying. Go fuck yourself.
Right? I don't know. You tell me how to interpret that, but like that's got to be a little nod to John Lennon there. It has to be. It should be bigger than Wonderwall. Yeah. Wonderwall, it's. I think the composition here is a lot better than Wonderwall. It's a little bit more complex, but it's still in the realm of pop. It's still so catchy. It's so fucking good. It is so good. 50% of it's put in there to wind people up. The other 50% is saying, look, this is how songs like Don't Look Back in Anger come about, because they're inspired by songs like Imagine. And no matter what people think, there will soon be some 13-year-old kid out there who will read an interview and think, Imagine, I've never heard of that song, and he might go buy the album. You know what I mean? What Gallagher said. Wow. Okay. So yeah, obviously, we get this little blurb from an interview with a Gallagher saying, it's like you put that stuff in there to either rile people up or to inspire them to find new music, and I think that's a great way of, wearing your influences on your sleeve. Yeah, and and trying to get a new generation hooked on your influences and what made you get into music, and maybe they get something out of that. So yeah, really, I did not think I was going to get more out of this song listening to it this time, but I did. With all that being said, I'm very excited to get into the rest of this. The first two tracks that I'd never heard before didn't blow me out of the water. I can see why the two tracks that follow were big hits. But we'll see if there's any other diamonds in the rough here for me, because until the last song, I'm not familiar with any of this.
What will it hold for me?
tell you what, this did not feel like a 6-minute song. I find that to be quite impressive when you can really break down a song like this. And it's not like there's a terrible... It's not like the song's terribly dynamic. It does kind of stay in its own lane, as have, the verse, chorus, but it does break up a little bit. It does have its own distinctive bridge, and, I really, really love this whole section here. And this is becoming my favorite part of this album, and probably of all of Oasis, is just the vocals, man. The way it's... Having a good voice is one thing. Choosing the melodies you choose and then how you deliver them is a completely different ballgame, I feel. Say now. Like, the way that he ends his lines is fantastic. That's, like, it does something in my little white body that I can't get anywhere else. It's like that and, like, the Drop and Creep by Radiohead. Donna. This is just all very moody white boy stuff, and I've been a very moody white boy. Now, again, it doesn't have to be a race thing. I can already see you. You can just be moody. You can just be moody, right? But let's try to run with the joke here. The shit's pretty white. And also, the guitars weren't attacking me as much as they have in the first two songs, which I really appreciated. I mean, the vocals and all that were still there in the first two tracks, but I did feel like the mixing was a little muddy in the first couple of tracks, and it's decided that it was going to even out. He does like a nasal thing with his voice that's so captivating. Well, it's not even the nasal, because I like the nasal, another one of his contemporaries from the 90s, right? Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, owned that nasally sound. But it's not. I can eat that for breakfast, lunch, and fucking dinner, supper even. Dessert, maybe that's a little much. Maybe listen to some Robbie Williams or something for dessert. I've never listened to Robbie Williams. You want me to listen to Robbie Williams? Let me know. So moving on, it seems like we got just like a little interlude track here. Swamp Song version 1, not Swamp Song by Tool, but the Swamp Song version 1 by Oasis, and we'll let that bleed into Some Might Say. My reaction to that, yo, that was fire. Some might say. Wasn't expecting that kind of distortion.
Some might say that sunshine follows thunder. Go and tell it to the man who cannot shine. Some might say we will find a brighter day. Some might say we will find a brighter day. Yeah, 'cause I've been standing at the station in need of education in the rain. Might say they don't believe in heaven. Go and tell it to the man. Yeah, 'cause I've been standing at the station in need of education in the rain. You made no preparation for my reputation once again.
There's a nice little fade out here towards the end here. It's a real shame that I hadn't heard this sooner, and I think the only thing holding this song back from being a bigger hit than it was. I'm just saying it probably wasn't a bigger hit just because I hadn't heard it yet. I, know a few songs off this album already. The only thing that was really holding it back is the song length. For the radios, 5.5 minutes is a little long, but I loved this. This was probably my favorite new one that I've heard so far. Actually, it definitely is. Again, I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. I don't think it's gonna fucking change. His vocals, Noel Gallagher's vocals, are incredible. He eats every single chorus he's ever had. Oh, God, it's so goddamn good. All the little guitar interludes and guitar solos that we have hit so well. My man on drums is just having, just keep the time and have it be so we make this 5.5 minutes feel like 2.5 minutes. That's what it felt like. Sometimes, I'll be honest with you folks, when I see a longer song, anything really more than 4 minutes most of the time, here on the channel, I go, okay, let's see what you got. I am not at all worried. I mean, these songs are just paced so well. You could say that, it is just very poppy. It's a little repetitive, but I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I mean, they break it up with these very tasteful guitar moments. And I do like what RVD said, and I'll piggyback off of an idea that RVD says here. RVD says, one thing I love about this album and Oasis as a whole is just how huge their music sounds. You may not be able to pinpoint exactly what they mean, but everything sounds massive from the lyrics to the production. As the lone Be Here Now defender, Oasis is at its best when they reveal in how big they are. I think a lot of that, and thank you, RVD, for that. I can definitely get you on the whole, you may not be able to pinpoint exactly what they're talking about, but that it feels a little bit more grand than I think it deserves to be. I think a lot of that has to do with the guitar sound. Like I said, I was a little bit taken aback in those first couple of tracks just because those bright sounding guitars, I don't know if they got a chorus on it or whatever, but it just bleeds through everything and it makes it sound a lot bigger. I thought it was a little bit muddier in those first couple songs. But here I'm really getting the hang of what they're dropping down, picking up what they're dropping down. I'm buying what they're selling. They're making it like relatable enough. Just going back here to the chorus. I need an education in the rain. You could take that as just like a simple, I just need to stand in the rain and cry. Way to go, emo white boy. But in another way, you could interpret that, maybe not as literally, where we're you need an education, you need to be learned something through some adversity. You made no preparation for my reputation once again. The sink is full of fishes. She's got dirty dishes on the brain. What the fuck does that mean, right? I mean, if we try to break this down, the sink is full of dishes. The sink is full of fishes. She's got dirty dishes on the brain. I don't know. Are the fucking fishes breathing in like mac and cheese remnants and shit? I don't know, but I love it. It's so good. I think the chorus was just let's just get shit that rhymes together, and that's a very simple requirement of a chorus. But again, it's the vocal delivery. I also. Even though I can't necessarily understand it or interpret it in a way that makes sense to me, Noel sings in a way that I believe everything he's fucking saying. He has so much charisma in these vocal performances that I believe everything that he's saying. And I think it's very authentic. It's not maybe a conventionally nice sounding voice. So that air of authenticity comes through a lot easier for me. He means everything that he's saying. Liam, whatever the fuck. I still don't believe that. I always thought it was the other way around. Noel writes, Liam sings. That's my confusion. Thank you, RVD. All right, maybe I'll make that mistake again a few more times here as we continue. Cast No Shadow.
With all the weight of all the words he tried to say, chained to all the places that shadow as they
So just to confirm here, if we're looking, we're towards like the latter half of the album, but this again is a nice way to break things up. We really didn't get another softer song since Wonderwall. And it's not so soft. I mean, it still has a very strong beat to it. And I can finally put some respect on the name, Mr. Alan Whitey White, emo white boy over here on the drums, doing a killer job this entire album. Round of applause. Tip of the hat. No wag of the finger to you. Good sir. Keep it up. Keeping the composition very interesting when it doesn't need to be, with these little fills that he's doing the entire time. And so not only does this work, to break up the album a little bit, to break up the sound of the album a little bit, it is a little bit softer. It's more of a ballad. It is a little bit different in theme. I think an overarching theme through a lot of these songs is hope and remaining optimistic through adversity. That seems to be the general trend of what I'm getting, or something a little bit more existential. And I think that's probably the right word to use that I haven't used before. Being in maybe an existential crisis, but seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. This Cast No Shadow is a little bit more bleak. They stole his pride. He's like nothing at this point. Whoever this is, he faced the sun and he cast no shadow. I mean, he's lost all recognition of the self, bound with all the weight of the words he tried to say. So maybe there's missed opportunity there, chained to all the places that he never wished to stay. There's wrong place, wrong time kind of a shit going on. Regret even, and trying to come to terms with those choices you made for yourself, or coming to terms with the situation and the cards that you've been dealt. So it breaks up the album in a couple of ways here for me. Whether that's wrong or right, I love to hear what you have to say. Please let me know down in the comments. Are you liking this? Are you enjoying this? I'm sorry if you're an Oasis fan and this is the first time you've ever seen me. I'm usually a little bit more presentable, but I'm kind of going through it right now. I feel like if I faced the sun, I'd cast no shadow. I am simply here. Next song.
Never expected, and I need more time. She's got a sister, and God only my mind made up now. But I need more time. You and me, there's lots and lots for us to see, lots and lots for us to do. She's electric, can I be electric too? In fact, she's got about a dozen. She's got one in the oven, but it's nothing to do with me. There's lots and lots for us to do. She's electric, can I be electric
Not some Sgt. Pepper harmonies at the end. What the hell? Holy hell, I love that. That was adorable. RVD, I kind of hate you for saying that before I got a chance to, because I was going to wrap that up at the end of the reaction. But RVD says here, this does have a chicken soup quality to it, maybe because Bees is sick and it's wintertime, but I like how upbeat the whole thing is. Perfect medication for the soul. This song's just adorable. Really cute, cool, like love song. Very like innocent puppy dog kind of shit coming through here. She's electric. She's got a family full of eccentrics. And he goes on to introduce the family. The brother, the mother, the cousins, got about a dozen. Really just like simple, cute rhyming things. I've loved the, like the country western bluesy direction they've gone in with a few of these songs. So we hear it here in She's Electric, and I believe it was in Some Might Say as well. I forgot to mention that starts off pretty heavy with that. I mean, under 4 minutes, it's just such a cute little love song, and this is not actually, it's not so much of a love song. It feels like it's a crush song. Can I be electric too? So nothing. It's very much kind of admirer stage at the moment. Maybe you've gotten to know her a little bit, and you found that there's a lot to like. You're trying to find out things you don't like, and you can't figure them out. Maybe you got to bob and weave around the family a little bit, but hey, what's love without a little bit of a spin to it? No, yeah, loved this one. You gave a little bit of, RVD was saying it was given very Beatles. I think that's just so easy. I try to not say that about when there's like any pop rock thing, though sometimes it just comes out. And then this is like towards the end here, this is just classic Beatles here. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, we already talked about John Lennon. Yeah, this one's fantastic. This one's really good. So who's the father of that woman's child? Look, Noel, because Noel wrote this, right? Noel isn't the stepfather. Noel is the father that stepped up. Remember this. All right, so we're moving on here, folks. The titular track, Morning Glory. I never pause. I don't like pausing. This is just One I Love by R.E.M. That it sounds so similar to the One I Love by R.E.M. I'm sorry, I had to pause it. I had to say something about it before I forgot. Maybe it changes into something else. I don't know.
All your dreams are made when you change to the mirror and the rays of noon. Tomorrow never knows what it doesn't know too soon. Need a little time to wake up. Need a little time to wake up for story, morning glory. Need a little time to wake up, wake up. What's the story, morning glory? You chain to the mirror and the razor blade. Today's the day that all the world will see. Another sunny afternoon, walking to the same morning glory. Need a little time to wake up, wake up.
All right, pause it here as it seems we might be going into the next track here. I can't unhear the REM connection. It sounds a little too similar to the One I Love by REM, and that's fine. I love that song. I love REM. But after that last song, I'm like, shit. Like, I miss them being cutesy. Obviously, you hear they're a little angrier. They're a little bit more rocky. This is probably the only one so far that I felt like, yeah, this one was 5 minutes. This one was 5 minutes. This one hasn't been my absolute favorite. When you're chained to the mirror and a razor blade, I think that's some cocaine, some booger sugar, if you will. Although who knows what they're doing out in where they're from, Manchester. They doing a lot of that over there. Cocaine. Never tried the cocaine. I can never be that cool. I can never be cool enough to snort shit up my nose. Yeah, maybe they're doing a lot of that in Manchester. If we got any Man City folk around here, you let me know how you guys bust it down drug style. We got 2 songs left, but let's finish up Swamp Song version 2, and we'll lead that into Champagne Supernova, which we've all seen great mashups of that with Red Wine Supernova. Very, very nice of Oasis to pay honor to Chapel Roan in this regard. Get it? Because like Red Wine Supernova, Champagne Supernova. Chapel Roan set the table for Oasis, and I think they took and ran with it, but I've never sat down and, analyzed the song as we do here. So let's get into that. Let's get into a little bit of that. I really don't like the sound of water pushing around. This is a bad sensory experience. We can just vibe out now.
How many special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were getting high? In a champagne supernova, a champagne supernova in the sky. Wake up the dawn and ask her why. A dream, she never dies. Wipe that tear away now from your eye. While we were getting high. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me don't believe that they're gonna get away from the sun. But you and I really why.
This guitar lick is so iconic.
Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in a champagne supernova in the sky. Someday you will find me caught beneath the
Guitar solo. And a tasteful resolve. A tasteful resolve. RVD said here in the chat that, this is like the Oasis song. For me, I think that's Don't Look Back in Anger, but this is, I mean, I definitely see the argument. It's telling of a good song when it's 7.5 minutes, and I don't think it was a second longer than it needed to be. And that's how I feel about the album in large, right? The song's always bittersweet for me because I think, honestly, I probably heard this song before I had even heard Wonderwall in a weird way. I feel like this song goes back with me further than any other Oasis song, any of the other two that I know or knew before tonight. This one's always bittersweet to me. I had a friend in high school who kind of fell in with a bad crowd, and I didn't really see them much past high school. And I can look back on very fond memories, and one of them was, me showing them this song and them just absolutely loving it, and we listened to it together all the time. And music's like that, it brings you back to a time and a place, being with a person at a special time and a place, and I'll always have this song and then those good memories. You know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck a Champagne Supernova is. I really don't know what the fuck Noel Gallagher was talking about for like 90% of this album, except for the parts that I understood so well. Like there's this push. There's this something that's bigger than yourself. And if it's something that's bigger than yourself, maybe you don't understand it. Maybe you don't have the building blocks there, but he writes about it, and then Liam sings about it in a way where they do understand, or at least they know themselves enough to like play this so confidently. And if you're talking like epic, I mean, this is really the epic of the album. When it comes to track placement on an album and pacing, this is a perfect way to end an album. Noel has a great quote about not knowing what the fuck it means. Well, I remember and I mentioned this before, but there was a review for Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco. And some of those lyrics are a little pie in the sky. They're like, okay, what does this really mean? You know, the album begins with, I am an American aquarium drinker. I assassin down the avenue. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything, but in a way, sometimes it's just like the shape and the color of the lyrics that give it its own meaning. And I really like that way of looking at it, where it's the shape and the color of certain lyrics. And even that isn't very hopeful in a way. You know, you really got to look at it with rose-colored glasses a lot of the time. You know, there's just some words, the way they sound in combination with other words, provoke ideas, provoke thoughts and feelings that just on how they're pronounced phonetically can cause some change. I think Beck, specifically the album Odelay, but I think for most of Beck's discography, he's another songwriter like that. Bob Dylan, to maybe a lesser extent or to a larger extent for some of his songs. You know, like Desolation Row is like a perfect example, although that had some pretty distinct references there. But I think some other ones, it was kind of Dada, you know, it was avant-garde. It was just all very deeply personal to him. And that's kind of what I'm getting out of it here. So yeah, I don't come out of Champagne Supernova liking it any more than I had before. But I am appreciative of the fact that they use this epic song, this odyssey in comparison to the rest of the album to end the album. And as far as the end of the album is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the conclusion part of this record. I don't think it's a masterpiece. I don't think it blew me away the way I wanted it to, because, you know, hearing Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Champagne Supernova, all of these songs that I know and love already, and with how good they are, I wanted to see more of that brilliance. But if that brilliance was already there, I probably would have already known that song. But be that as it may, I'm glad I got the story of Morning Glory. It's a very good pop record. This is an exceptional pop record, I think. I don't know how much of it will go into my, you know, daily drive for music. Although some might say, and She's Electric. I think She's Electric might actually be my favorite song out of this album, mainly because, you know, there is this sense of optimism, of hope that I think really paints a lot of this album, and maybe through a lot of Oasis's other work in a very, you know, maybe more abstract sense. But She's Electric, it was very simple to understand. It is a love song, but it's a crush song, and the composition and the lyrics, it just all fit the vibe so well. And really, and it's not even a stinker. You know, I can get down with Morning Glory, but as far as it being a 5-minute track, with it rocking out, being a little bit more aggressive than everything else, took me out of it a little bit. I think it overstayed its welcome a little bit, but that's one complaint over 12 tracks, right? And I know Swamp Song and Swamp Song 2, you know, they're just really just interludes, you know, to kind of space some stuff out, maybe get into some other themes. I did not catch if those were motifs or themes from other songs, so please do let me know. I guess it more so than anything else, I wanted to get into what made Oasis as popular as they were, for as revered as they were outside of the hits. And I definitely see the appeal there. You know, they carried the Brit pop torch single-handedly, it seems. You know, from the UK you can say, well, no, the Verve did this, or, you know, Blur was influential in that sense, or, you know, any of these other bands that I'm not quite familiar with. But it's quite validating to know that something's legendary, to know that something's very revered, listen to it and go, no, 100%. Don't Look Back in Anger is still just one of the greatest songs ever fucking written. I love that song so much. Better 90s album than that Korn one. This is definitely better than Follow the Leader by Korn. I'll give you that. Bees is just glad to be done finally, so he doesn't have to use his brain anymore today. Well, and that's what I was worried about. I hadn't really been streaming that much. You know, it's the holiday season, some other stuff going on in my life, and I'm sick at the moment. But I missed you guys. I love doing this, and I knew that this was probably a good pick because I just knew it was going to be good, maybe a little bit more simple, and that's exactly what I got out of it. Yeah, I wanted the expectation of me to just absolutely love this record, to just see the genius that I hadn't seen before, but I think a lot of that genius is carried in through, you know, like the big hit singles off of this. But there's a lot to like. If you love that Britpop sound, because it is just so clean and clear and fun, and can even, you know, satisfy your soul in those existential ways, like we were talking about through those lyrics. And maybe you don't get caught up in confusing Noel for Liam as much as I did. Really, really great ode to Chapel Roan here in this one. They really knocked it out of the park. Hopefully, if you're coming to see me next time from this reaction, I probably won't be as sick and won't be wearing this hat. Smoke Some with Your Homies and Sit Back album, and it's what we needed today. Yeah, you know, it's just a good album. You don't have to really think about it. Just sit back, enjoy it. And actually, more so than anything else, my final statement, the vocals. I love the vocals. This is one of my favorite vocal performance albums. Just the way that Liam handles those melodies it's just fantastic. It's rough, but it's still very proper. And I don't know. I'm going to stop talking. So that was my reaction to What's the Story? Morning Glory by Oasis. I definitely wasn't disappointed by it. It was great to see a classic album the way it's meant to be listened to, which is in full. Maybe not in front of all of you, but I love doing this. So if you liked this, make sure you like and tell me why you liked it. Go ahead and hit subscribe. If you didn't like it, please do tell me why. Dislike it. I have no pride. I don't care. If you ever want to see us go live, make sure you click one of the links down in the description. And if you want to catch this reaction in full, unedited, and all the other reactions that are to come before they come out on YouTube, go ahead and check out my Patreon. We can get exactly that for $1. Let me know any of your other favorite bands, artists, songwriters that you want me to react to here on the channel. But with that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy.
Diggity dog. Breaking, diggity dog. Breaking.